How's it going, folks? This particular topic has really got me into an immature infantilization, very mistake at the beginning of my working life, not to take it very serious. And I know all of us will have some form of debt, but I guess most people don't really talk about is student debt. All right. Now I know if you earn a certain income bracket, you'll automatically contribute a bit of tax, or you have to add more. So by the end of the year, your working year, whether you own tax or whether a partial of your tax went in, that is not up to me or you. It's up to yourself. Actually, I should say, it's up to you to be smart when you fill in the taxation declaration form, whether you want to contribute or not. And I guess the biggest problem with many local born, right, in the Western world, because we are so focused on infantilization amongst our peers, with immaturity mindset as well. And one of the area that really got me thinking, and I wish that I was like take it serious in that area, is to fill in the right way of this whole tax declaration form, or else I wouldn't suffer where I am today. I wouldn't have this bad management of my spending habit or X, Y, and Z. Now, what I'm saying here is the fact that I believe lots of those who just starting out to get into the workforce and clocking up with a uni debt and as well the tax debt or whatever, right? That is normal in today's world. But what I'm trying to say here in this video is I don't think I can branch out to anyone, but it's just for me to look back as my personal experience is many Australians or local born is going to experience the same way, and why we are mainly disadvantaged in comparison to our foreign guests, like those are international students or my skilled migrant or X, Y, and Z. First things first is, of course, our life to establish family, or it's or getting married or getting a house is a lot later than those who are foreign, all right, international student or X, Y, and Z. And I'm not here to complain. I'm just here to say because of our immaturity level, we are not taking it too serious, because we brought up in a country that has everything served right in front of us. We don't see any hardship, because we're living on our parents' household. And to look at it is, of course, you go to university. Most of us will go to high school and finish university, whether they drop out, or whether they change a course, whether they give up, whether they continue, whatever the outcome is. The uni debt level, it varies differently depending on the course, the route that you take. For myself, I only went to university a year and a half. Lucky I only went to one of the prestigious university. That would have cost me even more fortune. I believe, from my memory, it was around 20 something K hex debt, and I believe 2018 or 2019, that's when I finished study for TAFE. It's either uni is around 2018. And when I look at 2018, when I look at the whole thing, I said to myself, like, only last year I paid off my student debt, all right? But when I look back the whole thing, I just say to myself, like, there is a huge error for myself to not take it very considered, and which is costing my spending habit, my money habit, and X, Y, Z to be, in the journey of taking it serious with fatherhood, right? Or parenthood. Let's just say parenthood. Okay, that sounds a lot better. So at the beginning, obviously, you pay off your debt, which is all right. And once you pay off the debt, you're lacking on going through this particular ATO declaration form or tax declaration form each time you sign up for employment. Now, obviously, what's been written on that declaration, on that form, is very just general basic. And, you know, I'm only saying this because the cost of living is so high, you need more than one job to survive in today's world. And obviously, everyone's like, it's all right, if you put no or yes in this box, it's okay, X, Y, and Z. It doesn't work that way if you're not contributing more tax. And I had to owe $22,000 last financial year, and even till now I struggle to pay it off. I have my reasons for it, because of the personal issue and separation. It really clocked me back, and with the ex running the business, just to look at it, like, it just sounds so easy based on my salary, based on the government to see my income. It will be a piece of cake for me to pay it off, right, with this debt. But what I'm trying to say is the fact that life is so expensive, and that sort of debt level that should have been avoided. If I was smart enough not to use my immaturity, I should have went to see my accountant and speak properly about it. All right. For example, on the declaration form is very basic, but when you're on to your website and log in your account, you can do the additional stuff, contribute more. Even though you contribute on the tax declaration form, however, you got to contribute even more higher percentage, or X, Y, and Z. That was the biggest mistake that I ever did with my last financial year in the past as well. Not taking it serious, which costing a big issue in my personal, and it also destroyed my family as well, because of myself not being matured, taking it serious on this tax. And when you look at the whole thing, this sort of stuff would have been avoided from day one. And me sharing this story is to say to you guys, it's like, people can foresee or unforesee this whole thing. I'm not here to complain or argue with you, but to look at the whole thing, that journey, it feels like we're so disadvantaged as local born, because life is too easy. We feel like we're invisible, and next minute it's just a big slap tax bill on your front desk, and you have to constantly pay for. And for me to look at the whole thing, is just the fact that it is such a cockiness, the immaturity that I get to see from my point of view, and it's just really dumb me down every week, that I'm constantly thinking about tax. Even right now, tax. Everyone works so hard, and whatever the wages they want to reward themselves, or they don't think about it. Some people don't get to that stage, some people do. But yeah, it's just for me to think about the whole thing. It just feels like I'm such an idiot looking back at it, and I wish that I wouldn't be cocky about it, and just to pay my dues, that I wouldn't have to destroy my family like this. Like it just, I would say that was one of my biggest mistakes in my life. But then again, would I blame myself, or would I blame my immaturity, or would I blame the education system? It's just, I don't think I'm the only one is experiencing this way, and I guess a lot of people experience that way. But then again, if I didn't experience it, I would just be stupidity and bought, more assets and X, Y, and Z. And I guess with a international student, or your passport bro, or you're marrying to a family that's not the first generation, and intergeneration in this country, that's why a lot of locals tend not to buy that much investment properties, or a high risk taker comparison to a foreign, because they understand you can't recover or pay back even if you lose your job or whatever. We think so much steps ahead in that category. So when I look at the whole thing, I said to myself, we are very disadvantaged because the foreign students who come to this country will pay double the price on whatever the course that they do. And whatever by they mean, whether they use their family member or they hustle from this country to pay their bills or whatever, it's a discipline. But when we give it like free university and pay later, it's sort of like saying afterpay or zip pay, that sort of sense. But then again, to look at it, the whole thing, I started to say to myself, it is very complex to look at the whole thing. Did I blame myself? Did I did this? And it's just so much to go through. And it's the biggest regret that I wish that I could pick this area up a bit more because of that.